right back at it again. We got your boy, Rude Boy, Raynard Steven, Wawa, and Good.
That's a Marshallese song that I don't understand.
Hey everyone, we just want to take this time to thank folks for joining us on this call. This is our Thursday Community Islander Talks. This week we're having the COFA community, which is the Compact of Free Alliance. I mean, it's a lot of folks, but I have our navigator Cece here kind of representing, and she will introduce our panelists as they discuss some community concerns and different topics in their neighborhood. But I also want to thank my counterpart from Tacoma Pierce County Public Health, Leimamo Wase, or Mamo Wase, I should say, for joining us. But Cece, passing it off to you. Thanks all.
Thank you, Celie. Yahweh, Ali, Rananim, Kaselelia, Mogethin, and Lenwo. Welcome to our COFA huddle or dialogue, where we are going to share some health disparities relating to our immigration status, especially with our paper I-94 or the pre-I-94, pre-April 2013. And if we do have time, we're also gonna try and talk about our housing needs for the citizens of COFA here in Washington State, and also some community taboos or things that we don't like to talk about within our own communities. And sometimes we just hush because culturally it may not be appropriate, or maybe family-wise we cannot even talk about it, or it could also be related to our Christian faith and other dynamics. However, before we set motion into our discussion this evening, I would like to echo Celie and extend my sincere komodada to Voice of South Pacific and King County Public Health in providing this virtual platform or a place where we can, in Marshallese, we say puebanado, or have a discussion. And before we continue, because it is a cultural value or norm, I would like to say a prayer. And I'm going to do it in Marshallese since it's my native language. And yes, so let us bow our heads and inacha. Iroyani komol ganiani, komol boy parmarungin kaman boyen joniani oyamman. Boy olive, alaman lag jan gain, maram mijarin ren marong per. Bokemin marong chere kanan ganaben gain kam region in COFA Island Nation. Kamijilo ilo Morganam, Helaptata ilo Washington State, in Barano ilo Olive and Ipalagan America. Kachito Giroid Pokon Kamanaway, Olive Boladet, and come up with good discussion. Yung pagkaman marong kanan, yung kaman marong jibang aramidaroam. Kalur Olive Poro Damjich, yung kaman pagkaman poro chuan, ilo angka mani cara palagin. Kajaram man Olive rain imbrek manana yung jibang aramidaroam. Jibang kami roj, aje waj minodam jilo liburin tim. Amen. And just so we can understand a brief history or a visual of COFA or the island nations that are part of COFA, I'm actually going to share a few visual or slides so we can, for our viewers that don't really know COFA, what COFA is or where Micronesia is. Let me share my screen. And hopefully I'm able to navigate this. See, I'm not able to access my screen right now.
You want to email it to me, then I can share it?
Yeah, sure. Give me a moment. Jolok put it away. Jarin technology issue right now. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be sending this to Sealy so he can help me show it on visually so you can all see it. So were you able to get it?
It hasn't come in yet.
It doesn't always happen.
I mean, but you can start sharing and then I'll share the screen as it shoots up, unless you need the visual aid.
Huh. Please send. Yes, I do need it visually because it's actually my segue into our conversation.
Oh, here it is.
And Celia, you're monitoring our chat, correct?
Yep. Both ends.
Thank you.
Yep, there you go.
Thank you, Celie. So this is truly the real reason, like I said, why we're here virtually on Facebook and social media, because we truly want to talk about our immigration status here in the US, especially with our pre-2013 I-94. And if we do have time, we're gonna also go into housing and rental assistance that many of our people also need, but are also struggling to access. And, you know, community topics or taboos that it's hard for us to talk about because culturally or family-wise or religious reasons, we cannot talk about it. Silly next. So what is COFA, or who is or who are COFA? Where is COFA and how does it all work? So COFA, like Celie mentioned earlier, it stands for Compacts of Free Association. And the island nations that are part of this are the Republic of the Marshall Islands, where I am a citizen, Republic of Palau, and Federated States of Micronesia. And these island nations, they all signed compacts with the U.S. early in the late 1980s, and I think Palau was early 1990s. And when we signed these compacts or agreements, it put into place a diplomatic, economical, and military relationship with the U.S. So that then allowed citizens of COFA to be able to enter, exit, live, study, and work in the U.S. without having to go through those, that long process of getting a green card like other immigrants. So when you first enter into the U.S., you are given a I-94. And it is good right now because after April 2013, U.S. or Homeland Security was able to, upload that I-94 electronically into their database. However, we are here today because of I-94 before that electronic system, because that's the main issue that we are having to live and go through and hear from our clients and community members. And COFA, it is also known usually in government agencies and in government dialogues as freely associate states or FAS. So I'm going to introduce or allow my panelists or colleagues to go ahead and introduce themselves, their full names, culturally where they are from, what kind of work they do, and so forth. So for now, I will pick on Triple. Triple.
My name is Triple J, working for Neighborhood House as a resource specialist for 2 years now. My job and my duties are really to help and support my community member in basically anything that they need, such as insurance-wise, TSH's paperwork, I-94 and all that, Social Security, and aging and disability benefits too. I've been with my community, helping support my community ever since probably 10, 15 years without getting paid. But thankfully now I'm employed and working with the organization to better support my community member. I'm thankful for this opportunity and thank you all.
Triple, did you mention where you're culturally from?
Culturally, I'm Chuukese, half Marshallese. I should say that, but I don't really speak Marshallese because I grew up in Chuuk.
Yeah, Triple's full name is Triple J Kaminangai.
Yes.
Thank you, Triple.
Thank you.
All right, let me, Brenda.
So I'm going to start in my native language first. Brenda Kelek, Joio Ejejet, Najidok Nachun de la Vijalui. And with Nacharavalo Ipen, Seattle King County Public Health, Ilotopadam and Meriba, Access and Outreach. And Charvalo, Edan Barcharvalam Triple J, Vijapan Chibang Community go at Ivichen Health Insurance, Imgapi Wagongan TSAs. And with Enochuan certified navigator and Wajandan helpline finder, where ay wujam insuran me chalakam charabal ore ruwana yamangan pamaleawam komerong tabare ilo 206 emen chimjon chalapar ruwa chino emen chimjon chilu walim radi ito enota pa imarong barchi bangalo kanipe bakoan TSA jangan rotoro me chino walim ya roto imlangalap kami baranya citang air kemani apa lagi jano ko airangan pucita mam kaji emu cerbalam tribal C perlu neba airon imayat kamolo lani pedungun toar cerbar lagi na cara jap kala warwanayat ak eliktada ani akarangan yana ani jadi reward kejilo yana yakar jabaligigan kola to nampai na. So just a basic for any other COFA nation. I'm also like Triple J. I am a navigator, certified navigator for Washington Helpline Finder. So I can help you fill out your application for on Washington Apple Health, for Washington Apple Health, or for the elders that are 65 and older. I can also help you fill out your application through TSAs for food stamp and cash aid, also health coverage. Okay. And my number is 206-477-7358. And I have clients from Chuuk and Pushai, and I'm so happy because they walk in and they see an islander inside public health, and they're like, we'll go that direction. Even if I'm less expert than the other, they're like, we're going that direction. So you are welcome to come and visit me or call me. Pariyawai.
Kumota Brenda.
Brenda, can you put your phone number in the chat box and I'll put it on Facebook?
Okay.
Thank you. Leimamo.
Hello, Yahweh. Sorry, I'll be kind of going back and forth on and off camera here. I have really low bandwidth, but my name is Leimamo Wase, and I am from the Marshall Islands, living in Seattle, Washington, since October of last year. I'm a program analyst working at Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. So some of the work that I do I'm in our assessment planning and development department. So we do community assessments, data work, and program evaluation. But I also support our community engagement Pacific Islander liaison. And so particularly with COVID work. So I've been kind of helping to connect services or resources from the health department with families in Pierce County. So kumoltada, I'm so happy to be here with you all.
Kumol Mamo. I think it's good that I also introduce myself, even though I'm trying to facilitate, because I think I will be a panelist too, since I'll be sharing some of the concerns. Let me do it in Marshallese. Yakwe alep, elange kochap chala wan ngai adain chichilia, alebra chala kachira iba chichi, ngai tagya aine. Igar charabal ilo social work in 2007. Im charabale chuan me professionally, ngai charabal ipen ba neighborhood housing program ga amin. Im bareno ngai bar charabal ipen public health ngan dan pogo I would want remaja im COFA ngan ipen King County public health be ran marang rongaja bay im ran marang chibang. Im yang ini junyan wa win go me rajo rongaja ga im raj mona na chibang kan ga klar ka dala gijin pekemen marang palangan yer ngan ole fewer kan ngatan gi me chigioni kitchen I-94 housing im men go me chichen marang kan nan ga Greetings, everyone. I know that I'll be the facilitator today, but I'm also going to be acting as a panelist. For those that do not know me, my name is Cecilia, also known as Cici Takia Haine. I'm culturally from the Marshall Islands. I've worked in social service since 2007. Professionally, I work in the housing program for Neighborhood House, and I also work with Public Health King County to bring all the concerns of the Marshallese community and the other COFA communities from within the communities back to King County so they can listen and they can also try and help us. And I'm very thankful that we are here so we can talk about, I was going to say that freaking paper I-94. And since this is a Highland dialogue, you know, let's be transparent and let's really have a dialogue. So if you're watching on Facebook and you're able to comment and also share your own struggle with the paper I-94 when you first entered before April of 2013, please comment or share because our goal is to bring your voices up there so there can be changes. So since our time is not that much, Triple, can you please share of the struggles that you see in your own Chuukese community here in King County or Washington State?
Yes, there is a lot of struggles, as you mentioned, with some of our clients or my clients that I work with entered the US 2013, going down. They came into the US and got their paper I-94. These people, they don't like us Islander. We don't culturally keeping stuff. It's not something that that we hold. Usually it's by oral stories or all that. So coming here, they don't know that they have to keep their I-94 securely and safely. Sometimes they lose it. And I have clients that are trying best to get good paying job, but we're not able to because first they lost their passport with the I-94. And when the employer like e-verify them, even though they have a new passport, it doesn't match with the old passport when they enter. We all know that with our passport, all passports have different numbers. So when you lose it or it's expired and you renew it, they'll give you a new passport with a different number on it. And that's basically one of the problems that I'm facing today with my clients, trying to help them, you know, get their I-94, which is really impossible. There is way to do it by applying for I-102 CC?
Correct.
I-102, which is very costly, $445, but you're not gonna get your card right away. You won't be able to get the replacement if your new passport and the old passport that they have it recorded down doesn't match. So I want to let our people know that it is very important to take care of their passport that they enter into the US with. Even when it's expired, they have to keep it still. Because if they lost their I-94 and they try to retrieve online, they couldn't without their old passport. Old passport with its own number.
Thank you, Triple. Was that all that you wanted to share?
I would also like to share some clients, like I have this guy that I've been trying to help, and there is that e-verified document that I give it to him that says we can give any employer whatever we have. I gave him that document, and one of the subcontract for the airport was able to allow it. But when it comes to the airport itself, to get, I guess, their ID from the airport, they did not approve it. They really need to have the I-94. Even though you have state driver license, you have your social security card, they still want that I-94. And this person that got hired with a subcontract, the airline or the airport at that location requires him to have like his I-94 within 30 days, or they're gonna let him go, which is really sad. I mean, it's just when that guy told me like thanking me, like really thank me, my dream is coming true. Thank you for really helping me. This is one of the things that I've been struggling for forever, 10 years now. I wasn't able to get a good job because of I-94. And thank you for helping me knowing what to do or telling the employer, now I got the job. Came back, having that same issue, it really breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because these are the people that really need our help with everything. And for them to lose that big opportunity for themselves and their family, it makes me sad.
Thank you, Triple. Any other examples or stories you would like to share?
Also even with other offices such as Social Security. Some people, they lost their Social Security card, and to get a replacement, it takes months for them to get it. I've helped 2 clients of mine that they do get a Social Security card, but then they lose it. Luckily, DSA just was able to give us a copy of it. So we went to Social Security office. They got their new passport, copy of the Social Security card, birth certificate, all that, to verify that it's them. When the Social Security get their application, they said, okay, within 7 to 14 days, you should be able to get your card. It passed 15 days, we had to go back. Going to the Social Security office and get an update, all they're telling us is we are waiting on Homeland Security. They need to verify that you're legally here. So it's really frustrating. It all goes back to I-94, that Homeland Security is not, verifying it because they lost that document and their new passport doesn't match their old passport number. And it's frustrating because these people needed good job. They can do, better paying job, but then they just can't without being able to be verified. It's really sad. I'm like taking this job and it's just like pulls me down like, I'm not doing a good job. I'm not helping my people, but I'm really trying. Over and over. Luckily, one of the guy, after 2 months, they sent his I-94. The other one, though, still waiting on Homeland Security. I mean, why does it take too long to get verified when we present everything that they have that is legal, you know?
A piece of paper
A piece of paper.
can literally ruin a citizen of COFA, their livelihood. Because with that airport employee, he's gonna lose that job
Yes.
because somehow there's no way they can e-verify him because that old I-94 is not matching the current passport that he has. But he has everything, right? He has valid passport, but it's new. He has a social security card. Physically, he has it. He has
Basically,
a valid state ID, but he just doesn't have the paper I-94, correct?
yes.
Mm. And even with a US social security card, with a US state ID and a COFA passport, they're like, no, we do not know you. We cannot verify. Okay. Brenda, Brenda, you have your hand up, right? You can share from the Marshallese side of, do we have the same problems?
Okay, let me make a comment from what Triple was sharing. I'm gonna make this comment because this is how I say it. So we're talking about Homeland Security. The department that should know anything that goes on in the United States. Who's coming in, who's going out, who's trying to do this and do that. And yet they cannot find that I-94, the new I-94, because we don't have the whatever information they need. So I'm trying to think, how can the credit find you and put you in bad credit because they can find you all the way back there, like you owe this company, you owe that much, you owe this. And yet Homeland Security cannot find that I-94. I just want to bring that out because I don't know. Maybe I'm not well educated to get to where they are at. But anyways, I will speak because we have the same issue with the Marshallese, and I want to address it in my native language. So, because everything Triple J said, we are having the same issue in our community. So I'm just going to share in my language. Okay? So, enodan Triple J kwalokon abeng tin rajwalo gilane chalakay 94 or chaluji chakwala duji ay 94 ang ime or chuanan page podcast kia ralaja meji penron gay ever kaman chiji dan ne kajin majalo ijimaya kajarbale eno kaman apang ever barchuanan palen ijimaya lakak mino imarong pain kaman apang kia chuan men ngayiga ijibaya lamanagay ijibang palen nge Homeland Security at marong chibang COFA en nga pajara majal marong ka chibang ka chika chita kalagulu chicken kaman page podo imbakay garadok chinon tada ekarwar chuan ay page pot aya da waray record ramarong ka leto kayanan nampayan o chegu jiwa da nampayan pachin marong an meji pen I-94 arijin populenda evan kaleo rein meche marong melela talaga jan Homeland Security ilar pokotok kat adan pej podo ar mo kata kachidagi pen lalawar. Hopefully lalawar oran kabe nagar chinon tada pej podo ko juto kage bachin narongan pugi menagain. Ilo health coverage an kain takatogo health insurance. Ebar palen pelak chirga bay rajle to gian ar kaptar. Agar kabure kapalagan kapanyangan keciang COFA. Ilo wajin dan stay dege irung laber chala kacer. Emo jilo ijo mereka man insurance wajin dan health plan finder. Rulun malalagan COFA. Emo chetiyan gay emaron ja provide yatan pokoto gay I-94 yan ato no da moran page pot kia choron nga bar expired page pot yan ato no dan page pot yan per kia ni le to genar di to ge men ko chat emo beno inje kamolo laga aga kanage wajundan state kia ne wan ge run chala kachen patawi palalo ko tan state ko chat gay elabat promo je bay yengane lapalagan penanir Meno inje kacung cibang adon pukot wawin bay. Chen marong pakai I-94 yo acecep kalagi abu cematala.
Brenda, I'm going to try and interpret some of the important aspects or concepts you shared. So with the Marshallese community, it is also similar to what the Chuukese community is going through with the I-94 not matching the new passport. What Brenda mentioned was for example, with Triple's client, is there a way that the government or the passport place in Chuuk can provide the old passport number so that you can go online and input that information since you have information of your old? No, that's not going to work. I take that back. Because in our meeting today with Homeland Security and Custom Border, what they said is what they've done. So we're kind of digressing from the sequence that I have. So they said they've uploaded all paper I-94 back to 1983. They've uploaded that into the Homeland Security website. However, in order to get a copy of the paper I-94, like to print it out from the website, you got to have your old passport information, your I-94 information, your date of admission. When you first enter, you need to know all that information so that you can input. And then it's going to say, oh, Brenda, here it is, you're an I-94. You can print it now. But then I'm like, but that's the reason why we're here. We don't know all that information. So that was the way for them to help us, but it's still not helping us. Before I segue to Mamo to share other stories of struggles that citizens are going through, I'm going to actually look at the chat because there were some questions. One of the question in Marshallese was for elders that are staying in the US, are there any kind of assistance or help for them while they cannot work? I am sorry I couldn't address that because I needed to ask more like, what kind of help are you looking for? Because Triple and our other co-worker, her name is Florence Injinmij, she was supposed to be here, Ilojin, she couldn't make it. Triple, Florence, and Triskel Jack, who's from Kushrai, they all work in what we call aging and disability. So if you're aging, and you're disabled, or disabled, call it Triple, Florence, Triskel, so they can help you, link you to services or resources that as a elder you need it, or as a disabled person you need help that's the job for Triple, Florence, and DJ or Triskel, because that's where they work. Another question is, due to the status of non-qualified alien, Marshallese children are not qualified for disability benefits. Is there a plan to mobilize our people so we can get this change on a federal level? Brenda, do you know any information medically? Because I thought that once we got the COFA expansion with Medicaid, that actually opened the door to all the other Medicaid services. Brenda, Kodalari?
Ikichena dan chibangan ta jiri Roma jonoyan punirgewan.
Not disabled.
Iyang kiya partiban ngan kachita kanai ta lukuna ibu janayan arami janay kanike no te war yen go me ngai kijongadan ugo elang pamuli go me edan remaja lilo apan e won jem rejotom charabali per ajari romeranga kam magatugut katang nier kelen magatugut menegen kelen air mage enga pa ajari rata kame rung kujong enot iturdu terdagam kain gam jay oh entre na pa katalo ko ben kain gain e go e waratan kainen armejer e wargan ne jira charbali perem chibangayer so jangan chala e wi lukuna ban mulalin menin ba tayo merai ujing ajari yo eno de
I'm thinking the question is relating to kids that are literally disabled, that they cannot move, that they cannot take care of themselves. So it's always the parent or the guardian that ends up caring for them. Like, didn't the COFA Medicaid open the doors for eligibility to those services?
Kaya jutongan jongan ajari na me eno di bachin wara dan yarong chuan pe benado miar baran dan chen north ilo ebarat emo yar ka chede per nga kame marong kamane charbale angan raini ni ke chen barworto enan.
Okay. Silly, is there a way we can capture this question to the person that gave us this question? Thank you, because we are going to bring that up here in Washington.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a community member here in Tequila with disabled kids, 2 disabled kids, and they were able to get the benefit.
Oh, so when you say disabled, meaning they're not able to move or really take care of themselves?
They're totally disabled. They cannot, the kids are like 13, 14 years old, and still the parents have to take care of them. So they were able to get what was that? Other program through DSHS.
Okay, very good. So for the viewer that asked that question, let me repeat what Triple said. Here in Washington, Triple was able to get help for two kids that were physically disabled and couldn't take care of themselves. Because that was my understanding. COFA Medicaid actually opened up a lot of services that we were never before eligible for.
She's asking some follow-up questions. She said how and what is their citizenship?
Triple, are they citizens of COFA?
Yes, born in Chuuk, and they came up here when they were 10 years old.
And she says we're talking about disability?
Correct, disability.
And then, I'll save this and send it to you afterwards. Her name is Florence Domendin.
Okay, Florina. Thank you.
Oh, good, Florina.
So, Florina, you can actually reach out to Florence, and I will give you her phone number. In the slide, I'll have Celie leave it on view for a while, so that if they are Marshallese, if you can connect them to Florence, so she can do what Triple did. because they all work in aging and disability.
TGA,
Yes.
imeron polen email Mario iliju kachida ke pen dukunyo istada sinalo. Atan
Come on.
ngay warena radan kayen apply through TSA says and ajirina me or majan mayan bunin imara jab go through atan abulge janan ramaron bar kola tong angain kachida ke pen Mario karawa wan eta jab ralakatan eta jab rajabam atan approve pe ba wan.
And disability benefits, that could be our next topic too, because a lot of our people are needing to understand how they can get help, especially our elders that are disabled and especially our kids. Good question, Florina. There is another question there. It says, to Homeland Security, everything is technology, fixing matching I-94 with new passports shouldn't be a problem. People shouldn't have to cross the borders. And is there an easier way? Okay, let me be blunt. We actually gave that question to Homeland Security. So what they did, what they told us, and I will also show it in the slide, they said, and I was so shocked when we were talking, and they're like, yes, please tell us, because we need to know, these concerns. I'm like, for real? So I'm gonna show you like how you can go online and give, how you said it in the chat, you're gonna give it to them on that link that I'm gonna show you, because they need to hear from us. And that's the thing with, with island, I think it's an island thing, or is it only Micronesians, or is it only Marshallese? We don't really like to ask questions or like make a fuss. Or never mind, it's gonna create, but we have to stop that way of thinking. Like if it's a concern, and if you feel like you're not treated well, even from me or Triple or Brenda, you need to tell us or tell our bosses so that then they can correct us, because that's the only way we can fix problems. Depending on what state you're in, the SSA will work on it, and also I-94 can be taken from the border. You don't have, okay, thank you. And then Kajin Majo question, Majargar Kajyo Menle Palangan Majo Baran Leto Bad Board and Chinon Tata and Revite Jalagair file in Bad Board Go Jaman. Seriously? So you know what Brenda was saying about like asking our countries for the information about our first passport number, and then they spew it back and said, we don't have that information.
Elun kayak roll lao periara jab kanan chibang good.
LOL. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't know what to say. I'm not a political leader, Majo. Maybe one day I should be a political leader, but oh my God, Brenda, can you find an answer to that, please?
Okay, let me do something on that. Let's get to the top of that person who's in charge of that department.
Was that the question you had asked in Marshallese?
Yes.
Okay, that came from a Domingo Michael.
Okay, Brenda, please note that. So how can we get in touch with Domingo? Is Domingo from Washington?
Well, afterwards you can check out the Facebook comments page and then maybe respond that way, because I'm just looking at the comments.
Okay. Thank you. And Mamo, I'm sorry I kind of like put you aside, but do you have anything to share? It doesn't have to be Washington related, but have you heard of any other struggles that citizens are having?
Pertaining to the I-94 issue, not directly. I haven't worked with anybody directly having or experiencing these challenges. It's more so nationally, but I think my role in this and it's helpful for me to know and understand because, this really affects our, like you said earlier, Cece, our livelihoods. It affects our health. It influences our health status. And so I know there's a lot that is siloed, like the different counties that we're serving and different states. But I think that, this affects our access to quality healthcare. And then, Triple and Brenda mentioned difficulty in getting jobs as well. And so I think that with me and my role in Pierce County Health Department, as programs come up or pop up relating to helping community members, or even grants, helping community members get access to healthcare, or just providing more resources to help with employment as well. I think that, it's really important to have these conversations with each other, because for us to continue sharing resources while others are also working to really address these issues with leaders of, the government and whatnot. So I think, again, my role in this, just as things pop up, at least in Pierce County, that I can at least communicate it with you all. And I'll also include my email in the chat too, just in case anyone has any questions related to resources in Pierce County. But yeah, I think really I'm just here to learn and learn from you all.
Thank you, Mamo.
Thank you.
We're like past the hour allocated for us, but I needed to reiterate what Brenda was saying in Marshallese regarding I-94 and the medical insurance for COFA or citizens of COFA. So you can actually apply for medical coverage with just your COFA passport. And then they'll submit, Brenda will submit it. It's going to go through. If you're eligible, you will be able to start going to the doctor. But we still need to provide a copy of that I-94. So what medical does is they will give you 90 days. That's like 3 months. So in 3 months, if you know you do not have an I-94, like tell Brenda if you're struggling to get one. Palangan Brenda, nga ko dyan maroon like Elola I-94, palangan Triple, palangan Florence or Triskel, DJ. Let them know so they can, be the voice for you and help you. So they will give you 90 days to give them the copy of that piece of paper, I-94. Brenda, please correct me. After 90 days, if you're still not able to give them a copy of the I-94, you can request an extension, correct?
Ingai, iyang jamarong. Another part, unanukun chilun charaman ramaja lipen Washington State, kanage rulun malalagan kajam rulun kachong chongan other marong. And come on, ever change about the lagajan coverage in Takata.
Thank you. And to interpret what Brenda said, we are very fortunate us here in Washington, because in Washington, after 90 days, they will give you an extension so that you can have more time in getting that I-94 situated and then give them a copy. Silly, would you be able to share that slide that shows those links?
Sure.
For the Homeland Security? And to all our viewers, if you're able to write these links down, and then if you're able to go online to provide those feedback to Homeland Security, because if you say it, they will listen and they will figure out a way to fix it. But if you're quiet and you're not going to say anything, and it's just me and Triple and Brenda and Mamo, blah, 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 I don't think they're really going to do anything. But if there's a lot of citizens like going online and providing all that feedback, you're going to make policy change. You're going to be able to make Homeland Security and Custom Border do something. And that's why we wanted to be here, because we wanted to tell you what we're doing to make it easier for us citizens. So this morning, we were able to talk to some federal people at our workplace to try and figure out, hey, how can you make it easy? Because, man, I cannot go from Washington to Texas. I don't have the money to fly out. So,
Or to Canada.
Or to Canada. Well, but in Canada, they don't even want to give us the I-94. We tried it.
Okay. You tried it. Kwaradalo dan podarta.
Plain.
Okay, so this is I wanted to leave this until the end. So just to give us a little hope, since we've been so I plot all this time.
Tell me about I plan.
Ewarchuan aramit ejabay mjane abal emijirean pagay ro I-94. Emoy wiganin ngay jadala bangayin kamol molage menin. Ilo plane komano pagay I-94. Agay orbar chuan chicken realang may regalak. Eko komerong lakatalangane komerong pagay I-94. Ro katanan kamane ngan ro aramit imrar pagay. Kia yegu jadalin lale molin ga pwede nato. Pagyan aramit jo arpa imjan kamane kamuro chimaratal. Pwede in confirm. I mean, come on, translate and Triple and all of the other COFA that they live in Washington State.
Okay, let me be the interpreter. So what Brenda said, because I said, hey, that doesn't work here in Washington, because I did it at Blaine border. Brenda said that there is actually another gateway, or Brenda, is it a border?
Yeah, it's a border. It's a smaller than border than Plain. So
Wow.
Plain doesn't give you I-94, but they said they went there twice and they gave them I-94. So charo da kage we nukun mall pe we na doin pe ene juwa parin. And if that's going to be the answer, okay, now we need to see with the Canada, how do they have two different border? One can give us the I-94 and the other one cannot.
See,
So another,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
nothing. So it's another thing to fix.
Yeah, and just so you guys, I think some of our viewers already know this, but in other states, and I know because I'm here, they tell the citizens that their I-94, their paper I-94, even with their old passport and their new passport and their U.S. Social Security card and the U.S. valid ID, they're like, no, your I-94 expired. I'm like, okay, next time I'm going to do live so I can capture that. But yeah, this is what we're going through. But we just want to let everyone know that, you know, we're talking and we're going to keep talking, and you're going to help us keep talking by putting all your feedback into those links that we provided. So
there was another comment I put in the chat, CZ. I can't read Marshallese, so I was unable to figure out what they were saying.
Oh yes.
So, does anyone have any connection to the ambassador or the Minister of Foreign Affairs so we can get the true statement?
Ambassador of where?
Majel.
Oh,
Majel is saying they don't have information on the old passport.
oh, it's
So
the same like, it's also same with the FSM.
And yeah, then we can also share that we did met with the one of the employee of the FSM consulate regarding this chaos. And we were informed that they're also trying their very best to figure out how to fix this. And that it is very important that in each of the states where the citizens are, you need to start talking. Advocate. Talk. You know, when you talk a lot, people just like, okay, let me just do it because they're tired of hearing it. Yeah, that's how we need to do it. Okay, Celia, I think I ran out of time, right?
Oh, like a long time ago, but that's okay. No, this is good information. I'm doing my best to keep up and putting everything on the chat. I know I just posted Mamo's contact info. I posted Triple's. I'm going to post yours and then Brenda's. But you can always go back and look at the chat because there's 59 comments. I mean, people were very interested in this topic. I did my best to translate Marshallese. Didn't go too well. Like even the names, I was going to try to pronounce some of the names, and I was like, we're not going to try that. But yeah, this was this is a really fun conversation, and we're going to hope King County really wants to continue these. So we hope to have the COFA community back in August, and it sounds like we need to take a deeper dive into I-94. Maybe I'm going to try to use our county resources to find somebody within either Washington or the government to really come and answer some of these questions. Are you going to say something, Cece?
Yes, because we went directly to the source.
Oh, okay.
We went to Homeland Security and we went to Custom Border.
Well, I want them to come onto this call and answer some of these questions.
So here is what they said. So you know how America is all about like privacy and security and you know how they have to really keep everything safe. So they said, you can get it. You just need to have all the information to enter it. Because you cannot just say, hey, I'm Cece, I have my new passport, give me my I-94. They're like, no, you need to verify yourself. You need to tell me what old passport you're linked to, what day you entered the US, day and year and month, and then what's your I-94 number. And then I'm like, but I don't even have those information. They're like, oh, well, so do the I-102. And I'm like, okay, what if I'm, English illiterate? I cannot even read, but then that paper is in English. So, no comment, but yeah, that was the answer. Because of privacy laws and security reasons, they cannot just make it easy like that. However, if there's a lot of in those links that I gave you, then they're going to be like, oh, maybe we're doing something wrong, I guess. But yeah, that's what they said.
No, someone was saying in the chat box, come to Utah because Utah has it easy. Where is it at? Yeah.
Really? Utah has it easy?
Dorsey Lime, come to Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah Airport Terminal at Customs Borders Office and ask. They always keep your I-90 for free.
Wow.
Wow.
But I don't know, to be continued. Like I said,
heard of that.
You can jump on the chat afterwards, after we get off this line and still keep up the conversation with folks. But I just want to thank our host, Voice of the South Pacific. Thank our panelists, Cece, Brenda, Triple, and Mamu for joining us on this call. Yeah, like I said, we hope to continue this conversation in August. So we have a schedule built out. Next week, we are having a Tongan community conversation with Netta and a few of her folks talking about gun violence and gang intervention, which I know is an issue for the Marshallese community too, of young folks joining gangs because pandemic, nothing to do. But a lot more community issues, a lot more deeper dives. But with that, just want to say thank you to all, and thank you to Auntie Sylvia for having us again.
Komal Dada Sili, Komal
Komol
Sylvia.
Dada Sili, Komol Dada Voice of Pacific.
It is so Chapur Sili and Voices of the Pacific.
Komol Mamo, Triple, and Brenda.
Komal.
Thank you all,
Marshallese
leaders, community. Thank
Ditto.
you,
I'll say
Brenda.
ditto.
Thank you,
'Cause I'm not going to try to
Cece.
say that word.
Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Brenda.
All right, y'all. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Bye.
Tassili.
Bye.
It was such a great program. Thank you, Leimamo. Great program. Have a great weekend. Yes. Marshallese.
Music.
Mega way, we mega by young. Killing a lemon, go with the jewel, ya bet. Grab Nanji, young, get made while Kevin Gabby goes, killing our way, we judge sleep. Mega way, we mega by young. Killing a lemon, go with the jewel, ya bet. Grab Nanji, young, get made while now we judge sleep. Now